What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this is going to be the Senate prediction. So, yeah, I'm going to get started. No intro, no preamble, just going to go ahead and fill this map out. So, these are going to be all our safe states for each party. So, Democrats, they get 42 actually, seats. The Republicans are going to start off. Not Kansas. Kansas is very far from safe. There is some chatter that Abby Broyles has a chance at beating uh Jim Inhofe. Yeah, no way. That's not going to happen. So, some of these states, Kansas isn't going to be safe because Chris Kobach is going to be the nominee. Um, uh, and uh, so Illinois could be safe, but there's a third party candidate who could take away a few votes from Dick Durbin. So yeah, so we're gonna go fill out our likely states. So that's Arizona. Now Arizona is that's the Discord. So Arizona is certainly interesting because uh, uh there's a Republican incumbent, but every single poll has Kelly ahead. And now there was one Gravis Marketing that came out a few weeks ago that makes Sally ahead, but not a very high quality poll. And the grade is C, so it's not. So yeah, it's not great. And then that poll's not great either. But B, C, B. I'll say that. Yeah, A poll has Kelly ahead. So all these polls have Kelly ahead. And even the Republicans are talking about how Arizona is probably lost for them at this point because again, Martha McSally, who is the incumbent here, let's find McSally. Uh, she is currently never been popular, but right now more popular than she's ever been. And these numbers are from February of 2020, before COVID-19 hit. So that is not helping the Republicans out at all. So it'll be likely, although so McSally could make it close, but again, it'll probably be likely due to the fact that it just all the margins are likely. So I'm gonna believe that. Same with Colorado. Now, Colorado for a Senate election with a very strong candidate such as John Hickenlooper, who is the former governor and mayor of Denver, that would usually be safe. But there is a Republican incumbent who is very unpopular, as you can see, Cory Gardner. Only 37% approval rating. That's worse than President Trump, I believe. Trump approval rating. Look, yeah. So, yeah. Currently, Donald Trump has a 40.3% approval rating. So that's, yeah. So Cory Gardner has the worst approval rating. Although Colorado again is gonna vote to the left of the country, because Colorado is a very blue state. Now there are some polls in Colorado. Hickenlooper plus 11 plus 18. There was a poll that came out that had Gardner ahead, but that was against Johnston. So it's not a ton of polling because not a lot of people think. Because not a lot of people think that this race is going to be competitive. It could be, but Cory Gardner is hated by a lot of Republicans, especially the moderates who are going to go for Hickenlooper, who is a moderate. And yeah. So we're also going to go over the state of Illinois. Dick Durbin is a pretty popular incumbent. He's not unpopular. So let's see. Is he there? Okay, no, he's not. But Durbin. Yeah, so he actually isn't crazy popular, but he's doing pretty well, pretty well overall in a blue state, with a somewhat strong challenger from the Republican side and third party candidate. So Dick Durbin seat, probably not going to flip, but it could be a bit more narrow than you expect. Same with Minnesota. Now Tina Smith is the incumbent. She's pretty popular, and I believe there's some polls. So yeah, the service Karen Housley. Okay, why are they polling? Yeah, so she's running against Jason Lewis, a former congressman who I believe lost in the midterms. I'm not sure, so that's not great for. Plus, Minnesota is a pretty blue state, and it's going to go to Biden by pretty significant margins. That's only going to help Tina Smith. She's not unpopular, and we're going to see her winning there. And to finish off the trifecta of Midwestern, since Michigan is going to be likely, and I used to say that was lean, but at this point in time, it's likely because this pandemic is not helping the Republicans at all, and the polling. Look at this; it all has Peters ahead very consistently. No poll has James ahead. I bet we can go back to okay. There's a poll that has James ahead, but it's not a very significant poll, and only 600 voters were sampled. I try to get bigger sample sizes, like 1.2K, in a B-rated poll that has Peters ahead by 8. So having Biden on the ballot is only going to um, help them. Plus, even if like see all these polls, margin of error. I want to see the margin of error. Where are they? Okay, but like basically, if you okay, let's see. Yeah, so the A plus rated poll has Peters ahead by 10. That's not good news for James at all. So yeah, and sample sizes are important to look at in the margin of error, and 8 points. That's a pretty significant lead, and I believe Peters is going to win. But it probably won't be by. It'll be like 5 or 6. Could fall into the leading category. But James, really, it's not looking too good for him. So we're also going to go to the state of New Hampshire, which at this point is likely for the Democrats. And I say this for the reason, like, look, I'll be honest with you guys. The New Hampshire has the potential to be competitive, but probably won't be. And I say this because Joe Biden didn't do too well there. So at the presidential level, Trump totally could flip it. I doubt he will, but he has a chance. Maggie Hassan, Jean Shaheen, I mean, is a very popular incumbent. I don't think that she will be um, getting a really significant challenge. Now, there was some polling against popular Governor Chris Sununu, but he's not going to run, and nor is Kelly Ayotte, the former senator. But there's some polling. Dawn Bolduc is going to be her opponent, and she leads by 19. Now, she probably won't win by that much, but um, most election forecasters have this as a safe blue state. I'm going to rate it as likely, to be honest, just because this is New Hampshire, and it was very competitive in 2016. And yeah, but Shaheen is not unpopular, so she's probably not, on the Republicans' list of potential, targets. If they're going to be targeting John J. or Gary Peters in Michigan, uh, definitely Doug Jones in Alabama, and but really all the Republicans should be trying to hold on to their seats in Montana and Kansas and Iowa, in North Carolina and Maine, because they're not going to flip Michigan realistically, and they're not going to hold on to Colorado or Arizona. So, yeah. So now we're going to go over to the likely Republican states, and I'm going to start off with Texas, which I know MJ Haggart, she won the primary against Royce West pretty convincingly. Uh, but at this point, I'm going to have to say that she doesn't really stand a chance against John Cornyn. So Beto O'Rourke in 2018, he ran against Ted Cruz, who back in 2018, Ted Cruz was very unpopular, but he still won. 2018, according to he was plus 14, so not great. But right now he's plus 14. But look at John Cornyn. Cornyn's plus 19, so he's more popular than Ted Cruz. Plus Beto O'Rourke is a stronger opponent than MJ Hager. And honestly, Hager doesn't really. She'll make it somewhat close, but I don't expect her to win. Mississippi, a similar thing to Texas. Mike Espy is going to be competitive, but honestly, we're not going to see uh, this being a lean state. Now, it was actually a pretty close in 2018. I think Mike Espy lost by 6, and he is a very accomplished individual, but an incumbent in a red state where there is going to be some voter suppression. I know, say I'm lying, but there's going to be voter suppression, so not going to help the Democrats. Now, Alabama could be lean. I doubt it, but because at this point, Doug Jones is an incumbent, and I do want to mention that Doug Jones, as a senator from red state, who voted to impeach President Trump, Doug Jones has remained plus 6 and plus 5 with independents. That's very good for him. But it probably won't be enough to beat Tommy Tuberville, who did officially win the primary over Jeff Sessions. So, yeah. Now in Georgia's special election, I'm one of the people who believes that the other election is going to be more close, because look, we have Doug Collins, probably going to receive the vast majority of GOP voters over Kelly Loeffler. Loeffler is, she's considered by some to be a rhino. Other people say, and she also has some scandals, so that's not good for her. So Doug Collins is going to be getting the majority of GOP votes, and the Democrats, it'll be kind of split between Raphael Warnock and Matt Lieberman. So yeah, that was all for the Republicans. They're probably going to win it. Now, whoops, we're not going to characterize that yet. And South Carolina is going to be likely because Jaime Harrison is a very strong opponent. It's not Jamie, by the way, because it's spelled Jaime. It's Jaime, not Jamie. So I do expect him to make it close um, with Lindsey Graham, who kind of like Ted Cruz, is hated, but again is not crazy unpopular. So I I expect Lindsey Graham to hold on in this red state. So yes. Now going over to the lean Democrat states, that's only one for me in the state of Maine. So Susan Collins, very very unpopular. I believe she's the most unpopular senator. Yes, Susan Collins, -8. Let's check her out. Now remember, she was very popular at the start of 2017. Uh, and this is a safe red state. But once Kavanaugh happened, she just fell off a cliff and is horrible right now. Plus, Sarah Gideon did officially win the primary, and she is now going to be uh, able to access a supply of money. I believe $5 million that was dedicated to beating Susan Collins, and it would have gone to her opponent no matter who it was. So she now has access to that because she's officially Susan Collins' opponent. So that's very bad news for Susan Collins. Plus, there are going to be a lot of Republicans who still think that Collins is too moderate. They're going to stay home or write in a third party candidate. And there are going to be some Republicans who think she's too conservative because remember, Brett Kavanaugh, very unpopular with Democrats and independents and not too popular with the Republicans either. So it's only going to hurt her. And Democrats are very angry about her vote to confirm Brett Kavanaugh. So, yes, that's going to hurt her, and she'll probably lose in this blue state considering it is a presidential election year. So that's all going against her. Oh, I forgot to characterize Kentucky as a likely Republican state. Amy McGrath, she officially won the primary narrowly over Charles Booker. He made it pretty close. Now, there was a poll that came out yesterday, I believe, out of Kentucky that had McConnell ahead by 14-20. So it won't be that big. But, there was a poll that came out that had McGrath ahead. But we're not going to see McGrath winning. Now, McConnell is very unpopular. Remember, part of the establishment. He's the second most unpopular senator in the U.S., -13 net. So that's so Susan Collins is -10. So that's not good news for him, and that's why it'll be somewhat competitive. But again, I don't expect Susan Collins or Amy McGrath to pull this off, partially because she is, if the Democrats had found a way to run Andy Beshear or I don't know, like Rocky Adkins or even Steve Beshear, we'd be talking about Kentucky being a borderline toss-up state, but that's not the case. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the lean Republican states, mainly lean Democrat state. And Alaska is going to be lean. Now, I know some people think it could be likely, could be safe, could be tilt, and anywhere from that are all fair characterizations. But they did do some polling for the first time in Alaska, and it put Sullivan ahead by 5 against Al Gross. But a lot of undecided voters who are going to go to Gross because he's an independent. And again, Alaskans are fired up, especially about climate change in particular. And people are really mad with Dan Sullivan right now. He is not very well known, so that's not very good news for him. Let's see if we can find Dan Sullivan. Oh, okay, so yeah, he actually had a brief period of unpopularity in the middle of 2018, but now he's kind of back up to a decent rating, not super popular, but decent, and he's not very well known. I mean, he lived in Ohio prior to being from Alaska. He just moved there 3 years later, got himself elected in a red wave year. He barely beat Mark Begich in a red wave year. So yeah. Plus, there was a petition in 2019 that got 10,000 signatures, I believe, to recall or um, remove Governor Mike Dunleavy from office. So Democrats in Alaska are fired up. Alaska is a very independent state, and the Republicans should be scared of Alaska because all the recent data suggests that Alaska has a very good chance of flipping. I even made a video about it. Don't sleep on Alaska. Could go to Gross. However, Sullivan does have the edge. It's a Republican state at the end of the day, and I have to recognize it, even though Al Gross is a very strong candidate and running a very strong campaign. Okay, so now we're going to go and characterize. Let's see. What else? Yeah, okay, Georgia general election. John Ossoff, I mean, he's running a pretty strong campaign, but again, I don't expect him to win. He's a very, he's a motivational candidate. He's very exciting and could be good for turnout, but voter suppression, he won't do any better than Stacey Abrams did. So yeah, he's basically a poor man's Stacey Abrams. So, yeah, but demographic trends since 2018, could help him make it close. But I mean, it will be close, but at this point in time, I don't see him winning. It's tilt state time, so we're going to start with Montana, which so I want to go to JHK forecast for a second. Now JHK forecast, let's see if we can find it. So uh, let's okay, Biden has an 80. Okay, we don't need to look at that. Let's go to the Senate. So far JHK forecast, kind of, Colorado they agree, Arizona they agree, Michigan they agree, and can we move on to Montana? So they disagree with Montana, and they give Bullock a 1 in 3 chance. And yeah, so I'm gonna explain this to you guys, and I'm gonna probably talk about Montana for a long time. So I'm just gonna start. So Steve Bullock is a very, very popular governor. He's won twice in both in presidential election years, with Mitt Romney on the ballot and Donald Trump, both of whom who won the state very decisively over Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. So he's proved that he's won elections while being on the same ballot as other people. He also, as Republican, so there are a lot of down ballot or down ballot voters in Montana. Plus, we have the fact that John Tester won re-election to the U.S. Senate in 2018. Even though Donald Trump campaigned, he was very, he thought that Montana was going to flip big time, and Matt Rosendale couldn't do it. He lost by a lean margin. So I could see this race being as lean for Steve Bullock, but I'm going to say tilt for right now. Very popular in against Steve Daines, who's not unpopular, but is again not a very popular senator, not very well known. He beat Amanda Curtis in 2014 because Curtis was a very weak candidate. She was a Montana State representative, so Bullock is a much stronger candidate, and Trump is unpopular right now, so we're probably going to see a reduced margin from that of 2016. And that all bodes well for Bullock. Daines, his one saving grace is that hopefully enough people vote down ballot to get him the victory. But in Montana, that has never proved to be a reliable strategy, and Bullock has the edge right now. Same with Kansas. So Kansas, probably the most controversial of my calls, and I say this for the sole reason that Chris Kobach exists. So I want to pull this up for you guys. 2018 Kansas gubernatorial election. So let's see this. So Laura Kelly is a pretty progressive Democrat. She won this race by 5%, which is a likely margin against Chris Kobach. So yeah. There also was a third-party candidate, Greg Orman. He is a progressive. He's kind of like a Bernie Sanders type candidate. So who does that help Kobach? Yet he still lost by a likely margin. And Orman took away votes from Laura Kelly. So yeah. And I'm going to show you guys 2014 Kansas Senate race between Orman. Look, Orman, he is pretty liberal, a pretty progressive candidate. So yeah. Yeah. And he ran as a Democrat in 2008. So he was only taking away votes from Laura Kelly, and Kobach still couldn't win. So yeah. Now he's running against a former Republican who's a doctor, so voters are going to trust her, Barbara Bollier. And all the polling that has Kobach versus Bollier, guess what? Bollier is leading. Marshall probably would beat Bollier, but Kobach against Kobach, Bollier +1. Okay, those are the poll that had Kobach had C by A grades, no B. Yeah, Bollier ahead in a lot of these polling, so yes. All the data suggests she'll win, and I think she will do it. And former Republican. So yeah, I think that we're going to see a Democrat from Kansas in the Senate. I know it sounds weird, but yeah. Now to the last lean tilt blue state, the Senate. Spoiler alert for Iowa, North Carolina. So Cal Cunningham is running a very strong campaign, and Tom Tillis is again very unpopular. When you look at this, Tom Tillis, let's see the most unpopular. Hey, where's Tom Tillis? I remember him being over here. Tom Tillis. There we go. Yeah, he is -2, -9 with independents. That's going to kill him. I mean, honestly, Tom Tillis, don't know why he's not there, but he's very unpopular, and he is probably not going to win re-election just because of the fact high African-American turnout. Plus, he won an election for the first time in 2014. That was when there was a Republican Secretary of State and a Republican governor. That means there was voter suppression. Now, Roy Cooper is a Democrat, and they have a Democratic Secretary of State. Both are up for re-election in 2020, but when this election is being conducted, it'll be in Democratic hands. So that's good news for Cunningham. He has consistently outraised Tom Tillis, and Democrats see this as a very good pickup opportunity. It'll be very, very close. I bet we could see a recount, but Cunningham has all the edges right now, and in the polling, Cunningham ahead. Even all the good polls, Cunningham ahead. And then all the pretty good polls, Cunningham ahead. There was one that had Tillis ahead, but again, COVID-19, the second wave is already here, not helping the Republicans at all. Now, lastly, the state of Iowa, which could be lean, could even go to the Democrats. So when I first started the series, I rated Iowa as likely for the Republicans. Now, and then I moved it to lean. At this point in time, Iowa is officially a tilt red state, and Joni Ernst is very unpopular. And she's the third most unpopular senator in America. She's been consistently trending down. Consistently. She was pretty popular when she first came into office, and even in 2017. But since then, she has been, kind of not too great. And all the polling does have Teresa Greenfield ahead, which is very interesting. And a lot of the data would suggest Greenfield is ahead. Now there was a poll that in 2019, but that was a random poll. So Greenfield could win this race, but we're talking about a state that voted overwhelmingly for Democrats in the House in 2018, and flipped 2 seats. 2 out of their 4 seats flipped from red to blue. So that's very good news for the Democrats. However, I do expect Donald Trump to carry the state. It could be. It'll definitely be closer than 2016. But honestly, at the end of the day, I don't expect Greenfield to win, mostly because she's kind of too establishment to be Ernst, and because Iowa, I just don't see flipping. I know I'm kind of saying just trust me on this one. But Iowa could flip. I'd say top 5 states I'm most likely to be wrong on are Iowa, Kansas, and Montana. But so yeah, other than that, I'm gonna say that's it. So thanks for watching. I do have a Patreon. If you guys would donate, that would be awesome. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video. Can we get to 20 likes in this video? That would be awesome. Comment down what you think, and if you're in the premiere watching right now, I salute you, thank you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.